proposals today that could mean credit card companies cancelling any interest or charges in extreme cases, certainly stopping people from using cards, giving them advice. Firms would have to work more closely with people in debt. Things like drawing up a faster repayment plan, for example. Well, the response hasn't been entirely warm to this. One debt charity said the plans fail to deal with credit cards becoming dangerous long-term debt. The regulator defines someone as being in persistent debt if they've paid more in interest and charges than they have repaid of their borrowing over an 18-month period. And you may not be surprised to hear that covers literally millions of people in this country who are paying more in interest and charges than they're repaying on their borrowing. So, do we need these sort of measures? Whose fault is this? Is it too easy to get into debt? Can we point the finger at the credit card companies? Are we just too dependent on credit? How much of this is down to personal responsibility or a lack of financial knowledge? What's your experience of this? Maybe you've been in debt or you've seen others rack up the debt. Is it just too easy to do? 0345 6060 973. And is the FCA right to say they're going to put the pressure on credit card companies to do something about this? Is it their fault, really? 0345 6060 973. Do you feel it's too easy? And what's your experience of getting into debt? 0345 6060 973 is the number. Let's talk first on the line to Jasmine Birtles, financial expert and founder of MoneyMagpie.com. Good evening, Jasmine.
Hello there.
What do you think then? Do we need some kind of rule change? Is there a problem here?
Sadly, I think we do, yes, because it does seem that there's 3.3 million people in the country who have problem debt. And, of course, this is very lucrative to the banks. The more charges and interest someone pays, obviously, the better it's going to be for the banks. So they're not going to make it easier for people unless they're forced to. And it does look like in these cases they do need to be, because there are a number of people who end up paying far more in interest and charges than the actual amount of money they've borrowed.
Yeah, I mean, the figures are pretty astonishing of how it all racks up so quickly. I mean, do you think it's just too easy for people to get hold of that money and build up the debt?
Yes, I think it is still too easy. According to the Money Charity, on average, our households have about £2,500 just of credit card debt. We have on debt, non-mortgage debt generally, it's over £7,000 per household. And that's not healthy. As you know, there's been news just recently about the soaring numbers of loans and extra credit cards that have been going out in the last year particularly. After the crash in 2008, it was really clamped down on. It was actually quite difficult for some people to get loans or credit of any sort. Then it got to the point where if you had good credit, you could have pretty much anything. If you had bad credit, you couldn't get anything at all. And now things have loosened up again. I think it's still difficult for people with very poor credit ratings to get debt, to borrow, but it is too easy for far too many people still to get credit cards, loans, etc. And they are, well, at least loans anyway, are relatively cheap now.
Yeah, I mean, I do wonder whether it's partly the thing to do with plastic. I don't know about you, but I'm getting more and more used to just waving a card at a machine instead of getting money out of your pocket. And,
absolutely.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like money.
No, it doesn't, does it? I'm the same. I mean, I'm a big fan of cash, and I'm really not keen on the moves, worldwide moves, particularly in the West, to basically get rid of cash and for them, the governments, the banks, to have more control of us. Because this is the thing, when you do everything online, if you do things with credit cards, they know where you're spending, they know how much you're spending, they have absolute control, really, in terms of knowledge of what you're doing. And this can lead later to control over how much you put in and how much you take out. But having said all of that, I'm now hardly using cash at all, even though I actually like it. As you say, you just tap or you use your phone. I don't use my phone, but I have a little dongle. I've been sent a sort of dongle thing, which I've just got it on my, with my keys. You can just load it up with a bit of cash, use it like a prepaid card. I mean, I think soon, they'll have chips in our fingers that you can load up.
I just wonder if that is part of the reason why people will build up debt, because it doesn't feel like you're spending money. I mean, what methods could they come up with to try and help? I mean, the suggestion is that the credit card companies need to be more responsible, suggest ways. Do you think people need that kind of help then?
I think we need all the help we can get. I do genuinely think that we need to be treated like children when it comes to all of our financial matters, because we're like children, certainly in our knowledge and in large measure in our behaviour when it comes to money. Even highly intelligent, well-educated people have almost no knowledge at all about how to even do the basics of managing their money. I know, because I teach money management courses in companies, and people, these are management level people with university degrees, and they really quite often haven't grasped, because nobody's taught them, the basics of managing their money. And I think it was very helpful when the credit card companies were forced by the FSAs, it was then, to put those information boxes at the top right-hand corner of credit card statements, telling you how much you'll have to pay if you don't pay on time, and all those sort of things. That was good. Now, again, they had to be forced to do that, but that made it much clearer to people. It was there. It's in your face. This is in pounds and pence how much you're going to have to pay if you don't pay on time. This is how much the interest is costing you month on month, etc. So I think if we need it, and it sounds like we do, if we need banks to say, oh, by the way, you mustn't spend any more because this will happen, and next week we're about to charge you £30 if you don't do this. That will cut down the profits of the banks, but it will make sure that at least some people are warned, and they go, oh, all right, yeah, okay, I won't do that.
Jasmine, thank you very much.